that was the first time I ever saw Bernie nervous. Bernie was nervous when he saw Martin.
There's a picture of you that I've seen with a younger you and a young Chris Rock. What's the relationship with like Chris? Like, how did that even come about?
Wow. Chris, first of all, let me say, Chris is one of my most admired comedians as far as his brilliance. You know, Chris inspires me the most because his comedy is conscious. So a lot of my comedy is patterned after him. The only difference is I'm talking about what's real in my life, and Chris will go off on a political tangent and all that, and he ties the world into it. I think he's brilliant. And Chris and I met back in the day, but we've never become like friends or any of that stuff. He's always been, you know, he's Chris Rock.
Right.
You feel me? But when I saw Chris and met him, it was during the time when Martin Lawrence was coming up.
Okay.
You feel
There's
me?
an infamous night
Yeah.
that Chris had spoke about where he was like, I guess he was not aware of Martin to that extent. Martin was coming out of DC.
Right.
Chris was New York, which is, they're relatively in the same, they're not too far away. But I guess he wasn't fully aware.
No, he wasn't aware at all. Remember, there was no social media. This was in the 90s. There was no everybody on the computer. You didn't have no computer. If you had a computer in the house, it was something that was, you know, it wasn't a major part of, you know, actually how it is today. So, of course, Chris didn't know I didn't even know who Martin was when I first saw him.
Right.
And Martin was an absolute beast. Bernie Mac took me to see Martin and to meet Martin. And that was the first time I ever saw Bernie nervous. Bernie was nervous when he saw Martin.
Wow.
And he was you know how you see your big brother, and then it's your big brother, the toughest in the game, and then another dude come who might be tougher than your big brother. You see your big brother a little nervous.
Wow.
You go, he nervous, the dude. Bernie, when he took me to see Martin and Chris on that night, Bernie was nervous, like to introduce me. All right, Holmes, look, we gonna walk back here. Like this nigga was explaining, we'll walk back here, I'm gonna introduce you, but you watch yourself. All you giving me rules and regulations. And so Martin came out after he came off stage. And he looked at Chris Rock. This me, young in the game, and Martin and Chris are in my same age group, but they was just more high up in comedy. They got in comedy way before me. Martin looked at Chris and after he destroyed, it's a friend. Remember I told you about the fall of Saigon? Chris Tucker did it, Bernie Mac did it, where people jump out their seats, run around, fall on the floor like a bomb hit.
Right.
If you watch the fall of Saigon, people are falling and running around. That's what I compare it to. Martin did that to the audience. And they introduced Chris Rock right after that. But Martin came backstage and he looked at Chris and he was like, do your time, right? And Chris was looking at him like, and then ladies and gentlemen, Chris Rock. Chris lost half the audience after 10 minutes.
When he's saying do your time, is his concern about keeping the show, the flow of the show, or is it more so about like, don't try to compete against what you just saw?
No, I think it had to do with the timing. I think Martin knew he went way over. So I think it was a two-part thing. He was addressing, don't worry about the theater and that business of we about to go into overtime or any of that. Do your whole hour or whatever you're supposed to do. You a headliner. You the headliner. Well, realistically speaking, in the business, if you go on before the headliner, you're not supposed to do an hour and a half. I think Martin did 90 minutes.
Wow.
And that's not what you're supposed to do. If you're not the headliner, 90 minutes is for the headliner, or Martin might have did more than 90 minutes. You feel what I'm saying? I think he might have did an hour 45. And it was an hour 45 of destruction. Like the whole theater Promoter,
So Promoter
doing the lineup and all that.
goes with Chris Rock because he's a bigger name.
Yes, Chris was the bigger name.
Martin is where's Martin at?
It's before Def Jam. Martin is rising. You know, Martin was on the rise. I didn't know who Martin Lawrence was. I knew who Chris Rock was.
Right.
And I was excited to see Rock. So I was sad for him. Like, you know how you see one of your heroes and he losing today? I was like, oh damn, he funny. What's going on? This dude is funny. He about to be good. And I was rooting for him, and niggas was getting up, walking out. And I could see each time groups would get up and walk out, it would take something away from Chris.
He didn't address it because, you know, what he do when that happens?
He was he was caught up in Martin. He was caught up in Martin's world too. Once you get an audience that deep in your world, they don't want to leave it. It happens in entertainment. It happened to Rick James with Prince. Prince tore it up so bad that Rick James came out at his own concert and got booed. And they were saying, bring Prince back.
Mm.
But then it happened with Prince and Rolling Stones. He got booed. And they wanted the Rolling Stones because Prince, they couldn't get into his world. You feel what I'm saying? It happens, man. And so in that situation, you have to roll with the punches and take it as it comes. And if you cannot win this battle, if you see they just won't accept you and you can't get them into your world and out of that person's world, then you got to throw in the towel.